it in Dropbox or Google. I'm trying to figure out
Mom
why.
keeps sending me to Moodle. It won't let me. No way. Now it wants to open. Seriously? Okay, now I got it. Maybe.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Woo!
Yay.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm Tasha. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Tasha.
Well, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes. According to the clock on my computer, we still got a minute. So I'm going to wait just a second for other people to join us. So we'll go from there.
Hey, Dr. Perry.
Is Dr. Perry here with us?
I'm not driving today.
That's what I'm noticing.
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Hey, Russ.
You have to make sure they're not driving down the highway while they're in your class.
Well, why don't we go ahead and get started? It's nice to see everybody. We've certainly talked, I think, through a lot of different venues, including News Forum and emails and stuff. But I'm Tracy Johnson, live and in person. So I'm so glad to get to actually see you guys and begin our discussions for tonight. So if you don't mind, since y'all are new to me, I know your names because, I've advised a lot of you as well. But let's go through, and if you would, tell us your name. Let me know where you're from. Tell us what you do, and then what is it that you aspire to in the future. So, for example, I'm Tracy Johnson. I'm originally from Texas, living now in Bossier City, Louisiana. I'm the graduate coordinator for 6 different programs, put it that way. So it's a little crazy. And what do I aspire to do in the future? I'm retired officially from Texas, so right now I'm just kind of having fun and playing in the collegiate world. Okay, Russ, why don't you go next?
Me?
Dr. Perry.
Okay. I'm Russ Perry. I'm Assistant Professor of Educational Leadership and Director of the Ed Leadership Program here, and I'm just visiting.
Glad to have you, Russ, as always. Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Okay.
Do I need to call myself?
Yeah,
My name is Rhiannon Batts. I'm a first grade teacher in Benton, Louisiana. And I aspire to be principal of my school one day. So after that, I'll be getting my master's in education and leadership.
Well, good luck. You'll be a great principal. Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm Courtney Bonds. I'm from Marrero, Louisiana, which is about 15 minutes from New Orleans. I teach 4th grade ELA right now. This will be my 10th year, and I'm also doing early childhood administration this year also. But our principal has about 2 years left, so I'm up next.
I love it. Okay. Nice.
Wendy Goodwin. I'm from Bossier City, Louisiana. I work at Apollo Elementary along with Heather Hickman on this call and Lucia Wood. I'm the computer lab teacher and the tech person at our school.
Great. I think
I did.
yeah. So what do you aspire to? What do you want to, what's your future job?
Well, I'm right now, we have to have a master's degree to be a curriculum coach. So I'm kind of right now, that's where I'm leaning toward, maybe one day leadership when my kids are maybe out of high school. But right now, just like curriculum coach is what I'm kind of aiming for.
Okay, awesome. Welcome, glad to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, who's up next?
I'll go.
Okay. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
You want to introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. I'm Jennifer Allen. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a world languages educator. I'm a French teacher. And that's all. Was there something else I needed to add?
What's your future job? What do you aspire to do next?
I would love to do continue teaching French in some capacity, but work more with gifted education, maybe blending.
Okay, awesome.
I previously worked as a gifted French teacher.
Oh, wow.
But in my new position, I'm not doing that currently.
Okay.
Doing French exclusively, which is fine for now.
Well, welcome. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'll go ahead.
Okay. Hi.
All right, I'll go.
Who's that?
I'm Billy Neal. I'm from Bossier City, Louisiana. In the program to get my principalship, but my ultimate goal is superintendent.
Oh, great. We need superintendents. A lot of us didn't aspire to that. Hi, Billy. Okay. Ray, I think you were up too.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you can actually see me. I've tried to share my screen a couple of times and it didn't go so well. So I'm Sheree McMorris. I'm originally from Gonzales, Louisiana. I lived in Austin, Texas for 17 years. I was a gifted teacher there. Actually, I taught TAG, ELA, social studies, 12th grade summer school, you name it, everything in Round Rock School District. I'm endorsed in Texas, moved back, and for the state of Louisiana, you have to have a master's and you have to have so even though I have 42 hours of gifted education,
not a master's degree,
I still need to do this. So that's my aspiration right now. 10th year teaching, taught in private and public.
Okay, glad to have you. Okay, who else? Bucky, I can see you. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'll go. I'm Bucky Chandler, Monroe, Louisiana. I teach at Sterlington High School. In the future, we have a curriculum coordinator spot opening up. I hope to slide into that one and then work my way into as an assistant principal.
Oh, okay.
So,
awesome. Welcome. Glad to have you. Trying to see who else I can see you haven't heard from yet. Jennifer, I can see you. You want to
Oh, uh-oh.
These meetings are fun.
I see you, but I don't think I'm talking.
We can hear you, so go ahead.
Okay, I'll just talk. I can't see what's going on. But I'm Jenny Johnson. I am from Houma, Louisiana, but I live in Slidell now. I grew up in Houma. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I taught for a few years until my first daughter was born. And now I stay home, but my youngest is about to return to school. So I always wanted to get my master's, and this is the opportunity now. So I'm hoping to return in some capacity to teaching, and I'm not sure what direction yet. But I have another year to figure that out.
Great. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Chase, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. Chase Taylor. I'm from Orneville, Louisiana. I'm the 8th grade math teacher there, and I'm hoping to eventually be the principal there. My principal is nearing retirement, so hoping to get into that spot one day.
Awesome. Yeah, my first principalship was at the school that I started teaching at, so it's interesting to go back to restart from. Okay, Tasha, you want to go?
Sure. Like Jennifer, I'm a newbie to Zoom, so hopefully I get this right. Okay, share screen.
You're doing great. Yeah, just share your screen and we can see you.
Okay, did I share?
Not yet. That's okay though. Go ahead and tell us who you are.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tasha Mitchell. I am a resident and native of Bush, Louisiana. That's the southern part. I know it's a little rural country town. I am currently a full-time student waiting to pursue finish up my program this semester, so I'm excited. When I do return, I do want to do something in curricular instruction, maybe a specialist, and eventually move to Central. I like to work for the whole parish.
Okay, awesome. Okay, Heather.
Hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, I hit buttons. I was like, I teach first grade at Apollo with Wendy and Lucia.
Okay.
Here, and I am going through this program because my husband thinks I'm going to be a good administrator. But I'm not ready to leave the classroom yet.
Good. We need great teachers. So glad to hear that. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you. Let's see, Jerry Lana.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, my name is actually Darylana.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. But I'm currently teaching first grade. This will be my 6th year. I actually taught at a school in my hometown for about 5 years, and now I'm moving on to a new first grade position here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And hopefully, after I'm done with the program, I'll move into maybe central office or some. I have my mentor, which is my principal that from the school that I left before. She's like, well, when I'm done, maybe she'll be ready to retire, so I can come and be the assistant principal there. So I don't know, but yeah.
Welcome. We're glad to have you. Okay. Let's see. I see Jennifer Allen. Here you are. Let's see. Who have we not heard from yet?
You didn't hear from me yet.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Lucia Wood. I'm originally from Houma, Louisiana. Jennifer Johnson, I'm from your area. But I now live in Minden, Louisiana, and teach in Bossier with Heather and Wendy. I teach 4th grade ELA and math. And since I have little ones, I'm not aspiring right now to be administration besides maybe a curriculum specialist or something like that. So
great, welcome. Okay, who else have I missed?
Moya.
Oh, hi, Moya. Go ahead.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I live in Moya McNulty. I live in LaPlace, Louisiana. Been teaching for 24 years. 16 or so of that I did teaching in Texas. And now here about to go back to a private school setting where I'll be teaching 6th grade language arts and math. Looking forward to that. That's where my boys go to school. And hope to in the future become a reading specialist.
Okay, awesome. Welcome. Okay,
Thank you.
Who else is still out there that we haven't heard from yet?
I'm Yushika Crockett. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, there you are.
Because I didn't know. I had to switch computers. I didn't know if you can hear me. I am originally from New Orleans. I reside in Slidell. I am a middle school assistant principal. And yeah.
Just don't scare anybody off yet, okay? I'm sure you have a few stories you could share. We're glad you're here.
Thanks.
Okay. Who else have I missed? Is Zoe with us? Or Moya? Is that everybody?
I was here. Yeah, I did mine.
Okay. So I think we got everybody? Great. We've got 18 participants tonight. We've got 38 people in the class, so it's a big class. But thank you guys so much for joining me live. Just a couple of tips. I'm not the best Zoom user either. I've only used it a couple times. But if you will mute your microphone unless you're talking, then we can all hear a lot better. And then if you do want to chime in or whatever, just share your screen so that we can see everybody. So basically tonight I wanted to try to accomplish a couple of things. Number one was just to get to know you and hear a little bit more about what you guys aspire to do. To talk a little bit about why I had you do those leadership profiles and assessments. I'm sure a lot of people are like, why in the world? What does this have to do with professional learning communities? And I want to talk just for a little bit about what a PLC is and why they're so important in the structure of a school, and to share a little bit of the research behind that, and then finally to give you some real world connections I'm sure you guys have read my bio. If you haven't, won't take any offense, but I've had a lot of experience. That just tells you that I'm old. I've been around public ed for 35 years. I also spent 4 years in private education. So I've seen a little bit of both worlds. All of my experience, though, was in Texas. Now, Louisiana's new to me. The experiences as a campus administrator, as a teacher, or curriculum coach, and I've done all of those roles, basically the same no matter where you go. You're going to face the same challenges and opportunities and hopefully get all the great rewards. And then we'll wrap up at the end with any questions you have. So, as you know, I asked you guys to complete 3 leadership profile assessments: True Colors, Love Languages, and the Compass. And I'm sorry the True Colors one was a little bit weird and you could only really get your actual dominant color. I had trouble with the assessment that I normally use, but I found the right one and I'll send it to you first thing tomorrow morning. But just so you know, to give you a little bit of background, True Colors is actually a research-based leadership profile tool. It was started in 1991 by a gentleman named Don Lowry, and he based it off of the Myers-Briggs assessment, which you may be familiar with. If you've ever done a Myers-Briggs, it gives you 16 different traits, and he kind of felt like that was really too much for people to absorb and handle and to use. So he took that and created True Colors. And he based it off the work of Dr. David Keirsey, who is the Myers-Briggs guru. It's also interesting to you, I've used True Colors. I've used it with my teachers. I've used it when I was supervising principals. I've used it with students. And every time I retake it, my colors have changed. So, a lot of people are like, oh, I've done True Colors, why do I need to do it again? But actually the way that you approach leadership can change over time. Part of that is due to life experiences. Part of it is due to your job roles. At one time in my career, I was very gold, which means I was very detail-oriented and all that. It was because I had to be. I was an assistant principal, the right hand for a principal who had no detail orientation whatsoever. So I had to develop that skill just to survive. The second one that I had to do, Love Languages, a lot of people I'm sure were like, why in the world are we doing Love Languages? Love Languages was developed originally in 1995 by Gary Chapman, and it was an outgrowth of the work that he was doing with couples. So really it was part of what he used in couples therapy. But a lot of people saw that even though that is something that was, for couples or individuals in their home lives, it really does have an application in the workplace. So in 2011, Dr. Chapman, along with another gentleman, wrote a book called The 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace. And again, I've used Love Languages with teachers and with principals, as well as my colleagues at the central office level. And it was really interesting, the results and how I was able to use those. And we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. The newest tool is the Compass one that I had to do. It was started in 2013 by Ben McDonald. He actually wrote a book called The Leadership Compass, Mapping Your Leadership Direction. And like True Colors, what I particularly like about it is it's very simple. So if you do this with your staff, you get a pretty quick read on who everybody is and how they approach work, how they approach leadership, and how they even relate to their colleagues. So, why did we do all this? Well, one of the critical pieces of having an effective professional learning community is to know who's on your team. So, for example, let's use the Compass. I am a very East-oriented person. And one of my good friends, colleagues, or whatever, she and I were planning a breakfast for all of the new principals in our district. And we had a bunch that year. It was upwards of 100 new principals when I was in Dallas ISD. She and I were both assistant superintendents. Well, I'm a very big picture kind of person, so to me, a breakfast was no big deal. We were going to have it catered in, so to me, caterer comes, sets everything up. We had a quick little agenda, welcome, blah, blah, blah. Didn't think too much about it. I didn't know until she and I were in a training session together and we did this Compass activity that she was a very West person. I was driving her crazy because I didn't map out all the details. In turn, she was driving me crazy because she kept asking me a gazillion questions. I thought they were just stupid. Now I'm like, I don't care where the table is set up to put the food on. I don't care if we have a sign-in sheet. To me, that was all completely unimportant. And it wasn't, we both had that aha moment as colleagues. We went, now I get it. So when she was struggling to see the big picture, she would come and talk to me. When I needed somebody to help me get the details out there like they should be, she was my go-to person. So, you know, these have a lot of hang on a second. Oh my gosh, what did I just do to you? Sorry. Tracy, quit clicking buttons. Let me see if I can unshare now. Stop share. There we go. Okay. So in terms of using these tools, I'm going to send you tomorrow the complete activities. So it's real step by step. Like for the Compass one, it tells you, it's like a lesson plan, literally, how you can use it. But one of the things that I would suggest, now this is true if you're a teacher and you plan on staying a teacher. It's true if you want to become a coach. It's true if you want to move into campus leadership. It can also be used at central office. As you all know, I'm sure you've experienced, we like to do a lot of work in groups and in teams in our business. And if you don't have the right mix of people, if you have the ability to create that team, it's going to be really important that you have people with all of the traits. So let's borrow from the Compass. You need East people because they're going to give you that vision, that big picture. They're going to help you to make sure that you see the goal ahead and that you are working toward it. You need those West people because they're going to do the work. They're going to make sure that they lay out the plans and the timelines and all those pieces that need to happen so that you can implement the work that you're doing. You need those North people because they're not going to let you waste time. You probably know some people like this in true colors. They're called oranges. They're the ones who are the best party planners in town. When I was a principal, and I was very blessed, I had 6 assistant principals. One of my assistant principals was very orange. I put her in charge of prom, graduation, homecoming, all of those big events because she was the best party planner in the world. She was going to get it done. The rest of us didn't want to do it. She loved it. So that team really
It's a 1-hour class.
What? Oh, okay. I thought somebody was talking to me. And I'm not going to talk to you for a whole hour, by the way. Then you also need the South people because they're the ones who really care about how everybody else feels. And they're going to make sure that you're not leaving everybody behind. Okay? So these assessments, I would encourage you to think about how you can use them in your current role as well as in the future. You know, is this something you could use with your, if you're a department chair or a team leader or a grade level chair? You know, I also began to use it as a principal when I was hiring new people. So for example, when I was an elementary principal, I had this really difficult 4th grade team. They were tough. And they kind of went against everything else we were doing. So as we were hiring and thinking about filling a position in that particular team, I knew I needed a certain kind of personality to be able to come in and work with them. So we went through our assessments, we assessed the team, decided what everyone's attributes were, and then we needed that one certain person. So these can be, like I said, really helpful, I hope, to you, not only now, but on into the future. Because if you get a team that's nothing but north-oriented, want to do stuff, they're going to do stuff that doesn't help you. Or if you get a team that is all south or blue, they're really empathetic and all, that's a great skill, but if you have nothing but that on the team, the goals don't get met, the work doesn't get done. You can also probably, the more you study these, look at people on teams you're already in and decide who they are. If they're north and not south and east or west, blue, gold, orange, whatever. Okay? So I want you to think for just a minute and I want you to start chiming in and tell us what your profile is. So it's pretty simple. What is your color? So, and what is your love language? And then what is your compass or direction? So for example, I'm a black, physical touch, east person. That's my profile. Okay? So tell us your profile. Who wants to go first? I'll call
I
on
will,
you.
I don't mind. I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay, my color was brown, and my love language, my first one that I got the highest score on was acts of service, and then my compass, I was a north.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Let's go next.
My true color was black, and my love language was acts of service, and I'm an East person.
Oh, okay. Good. The big picture word. Okay. Who's up next?
I'll go.
Okay.
Okay, so my color was green. My love language was words of affirmation. And my compass was east.
Okay. Okay. Good. So if you need help with data analysis, Sheree's your person. She loves to analyze things.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Brain never shuts off, does it?
Yeah. Well, I worked at Dell, so pretty much, yeah, the computer. Yeah, I'm the nerd. Thanks.
Great. Okay. Who's up now?
I'll go.
I'll go.
I was brown.
Okay.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My love languages was a tie. I had words of affirmation and quality time. And I was a West analytical, which is so true.
Okay. Okay. When you have quality time people, they are the people that if you're a leader, they don't want an email from you. They want a face-to-face meeting. It doesn't have to be long, but they want that face-to-face, sort of discussion and dialogue. That's really, really important to them. Okay. All right. Who's up now?
Okay. I'll go.
Oh no.
My color was that orange girl.
Okay.
My love language was a tie between acts of service and quality time, and then the compass was west.
Okay. Okay. So you're more detail oriented, but you just tend to get things done.
Right.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Next.
Okay, I'll go. Mine was black, physical touch, and east.
Oh, okay. So we're exactly the same person.
Looks like it, huh?
Yeah. Be aware too when you have people, because people are like, why are we doing love languages? I used love languages so that I best understood how people in my organization wanted to be recognized. When I first started out as a principal, I would laboriously write little notes to everybody. Anytime anything great happened or, whatever, and put them in their boxes. And I noticed that some people would just love them. And some people are kind of like, oh, big deal. So when I started using love languages, I realized that I didn't have to write those notes to everybody, that once I understood who they were, if they were a physical touch person, for example, I could go by and say, hey, great lesson today, high five them, and that they were elated. That was perfect. So love languages can be a tool, particularly to let people know and receive recognition from you as a colleague or as a leader. Who's up next?
Okay, me, I have black, quality time, and West.
Okay, awesome. So again, a detail-oriented person. Skill I wish I had more of. All right.
Mine was orange, quality time, and West.
Okay. It's kind of unusual to have, and we've had a couple now, to have an orange and a West. Typically, people who are orange will also be our North people. But that's a great combination to have because you're going to get it done and you're paying attention to the details. So that's really, like I said, that's a great quality to have. And if you can possibly get 2 or 3 of those people on a team, do it, because they will make life so much easier for the rest of us. Okay? Who do we have up next?
All right, I'll go. I was a orange north acts of service.
Okay. So acts of service, that's the person that, like, for example, if, you know, you were named teacher of the month or whatever, so I'd come in and cover your class, and you'd get an hour lunch or an hour and a half for lunch as opposed to the normal 30 minutes. So when you can do something for those people, that is how they really feel appreciated and recognized. So good. Thanks, Billy. Okay. Up next. I can hear somebody talking, but we can't hear them real well.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, this is Jennifer Allen. I was a Black East, and then my love language is actually tied for physical touch and quality time.
Okay, okay. When you are in the position to start hiring people or you're part of a hiring committee, make sure that you figure out, and you know, quite honestly, once I talk to somebody for a little bit, I can tell pretty well what their leadership traits are. But be careful. I made the mistake when I was principal at an arts high school. We had, I swear, everybody on there was a quality time person, including all the parents and all the students and all the teachers, and it like to killed me because those people sucked the life out of me wanting my time 24/7. So again, think about, you know, there's good traits, there's bad traits for each one of these, and we just have to make sure there's balance. Okay? All right, who's up next?
I'll go.
Okay.
I was green, quality time, and west.
Okay, that's pretty normal to have the west and the green. You're a great analyst. You probably can break down problems very quickly. And you are the first one to understand the data. You know, a lot of teachers, their eyes cross when they start seeing all that data, but for you, Becky, that's going to be your strength that you can bring to the team. Okay, good. All right, who's up now? Okay.
I have not done those yet. I've read the chapters.
That's okay.
I'm taking the color quiz right now. I'm trying to hurry.
And you don't have to share, guys. This is just for us to get a sense of what's going on. Okay, anybody else want to share before we move on? Okay, Tasha.
I am green, quality time, and math. That's it.
Okay, you were breaking up a little bit. I heard green.
Quality time.
Okay. 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 Again, it's pretty typical to have green and west to be aligned. And again, you're one of those great people. So awesome. Okay. Anybody else want to share?
I was black. I had a three-way tie between words of affirmation, quality time, and acts of service, and I'm north.
Okay. Okay. So Chase, it's really easy to recognize you because we got lots of options. That's good. Thank you. So for those people who like gifts or things like that, you know, simple things, a cookie in the box, candy bar, whatever. But people really appreciate it when you personalize that recognition. And I'm a firm believer. We don't do nearly enough for our teachers. And you know, monetarily, but as a leader, and again, you know, whether you're the principal, the assistant principal, the superintendent, or you're, you know, the team leader, or just a colleague, people really appreciate it when we take the time to recognize them and do it in a way that is best for them. You know, because some people hate public recognition. You know, don't embarrass me in front of the crowd or whatever. Don't call me out at a faculty meeting. They would rather die. Other people thrive on that. So again, hopefully you'll find ways and you'll learn more ways as we go through this to understand how to use these. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about professional learning communities. You may or may not have done the readings yet. That's fine. You've got until Sunday night to do all that. But I want to give you two names. And if you walk away from this course remembering anything, these are the two gurus. So if you're going to sound intelligent when you talk about professional learning communities, these are the two guys you need to know. Peter Senge you may have read. He's had some great books. He's one of my favorite authors. He's the one who really started the trend back in 1990, moving us toward the idea of professional learning communities. He actually talked about it in his book called The Fifth Discipline. Then the other big gurus are Rick and Rebecca Dufour, as well as Robert Eaker. And they wrote sort of the definitive work called Professional Learning Communities at Work. It was published in 1998. And what they talk about in their book is that, you know, we in education, we tend to do all kinds of things that we think are going to improve our schools, improve the culture, improve the climate, and most importantly, improve student achievement. But in reality, a lot of what we do is wasted time and wasted energy. We also are, you know, victims of our own practices. You know, some of us as teachers, we went in our classroom, we shut the door, we taught our hearts out, and we hoped for good results at the end. Unfortunately, that's not the most effective way to teach or to learn. It's also not very effective in moving a school forward. And, you know, I don't know what kind of schools you guys are in currently. You know, I've worked in everything from a low achieving school and had to move it out of that realm to a school that was already very high achieving and had to keep it high achieving. But the most powerful tool that I have ever seen work in a school that is very low cost, fairly easy to implement, and extremely impactful is the use of professional learning communities. According to Dufour and Singhi both, we have to do more work together and collaboratively. Okay? We can no longer afford for teachers or for administrators or anybody in the school business to work in isolation. When we do that, we're not leveraging the real strength and power that can move our schools forward. We also know in this age, businesses don't want our kids to work in isolation anymore. They want them to work in teams, and we as adults have to really do that as well and to model it for them. So I'm going to read a quote to you from Dufour. He says that to initiate and sustain an effective PLC, it requires that school staff focus on learning rather than teaching, work collaboratively on manners related to learning, and hold itself accountable for results. Unfortunately, when I've worked with teachers and I've been an instructional coach, even in my role as an assistant superintendent, I was in classrooms constantly. And, you know, teachers would sometimes freak out, but I would coach them in the moment because I believe that was the best way to do it. But what we have to remember is I can teach my heart out, just like today. I can be up here giving you this most brilliant lecture. I'm not saying this one is, but let's say it was. But that doesn't mean you learned anything. A true, effective PLC is focused on student learning and outcomes. We've all been part of teams or committees or groups or whatever you want to call them. And most of them, I would bet, are not effective. Because we don't focus on the right things, we don't ask the right questions, and we don't do the right kind of work in them. People will call almost anything a professional learning community, but most of the time, those PLCs do not meet the criteria, and they're focused on all the wrong things. So, you know, I had a group of teachers at one of my schools when I was assistant superintendent in Dallas who, they had PLCs all the time, and I went and sat in on one of them. And I was a little shocked because the entire focus was they planned for the next field trips. They were planning for the assembly and the program. They were talking about, you know, what their supply list was going to be for the next year. Not one time did they talk about anything that was going to move or change outcomes for students. So the heart of a PLC, it's about learning. It's not about teaching methodology. It's not about practices. It is about learning. So with that in mind, I'm going to also read to you another quote from Michael Fullan. If you don't know who Michael Fullan is, he's also a great author, someone definitely to read his articles and books. But he says, transforming the culture of schools and the systems within which they operate is the main point of the work that we do. It is not an innovation to be implemented, but rather a new culture to be developed. And I will tell you, when you are able to be a part of an effective PLC structure, once you've experienced that, you will never, ever want to work in any other kind of a structure because it is so highly impactful. It builds collegiality, and it really does make a huge difference for teacher morale, and it will revolutionize school culture. And, you know, after all these years and studying hundreds of people and listening to 1,000 presentations, and my old school district, Dallas, was great about bringing in, you know, big names to teach us the newest whatever. This is the one that has stuck. And like I said, I've seen its effectiveness firsthand, and I've seen it really transform and change a school. So what makes an effective PLC? First of all, there has to be shared vision and values. There has to be a collective commitment, and you have to be about solutions. So you know how we get in a group as educators and we like to gripe a lot? We talk about Johnny and Susie and Jose and Tamisha and, you know, these kids that are giving us all these problems. That's not the point. We talk about solutions. We also have to be open to new ideas, and we have to cooperate with each other. And most importantly, there has to be a shared vision and common goal. You also, in a PLC, it's what I call a safe space. So in other words, it's okay to take a risk. It's okay to experiment and try something different and talk about something different, because it really is an opportunity to learn. And in my opinion, research does back me up, the best kind of professional development is what you do in a PLC. So I know my last couple of years as a principal, we got to where we no longer did the sit and get, you know, welcome back to school kind of staff development. We'd do an opening session to introduce our new staff and some fun little things for team building. Then they worked in their PLCs because they actually worked and did a lot of things. And that was more powerful than me doing a dog and pony show for 2 or 3 days with my teachers. You also are supposed to, in a PLC, question the status quo. So just because we've always done it, we know standards have changed, kids are different, groups are different, our knowledge and learning is different, so you push the envelope. So I'm not going to go through all these because I did send you the PowerPoint that it concludes that. But I want you to really think about a couple of things. Number one, are you a part of a PLC now? If you are, is it focused on these kinds of things? If you're not in a PLC, would a PLC be beneficial to you? So for example, when I was a high school principal at a very large high school, I had multiple PLCs. I had one that was just myself and my administrators, and I had another one that was myself, my administrators, and my counselors. And then I had another one that was just my department chairs, and I had another one that was just my AP teachers, and, you know, multiple groups because we were all focused on different things. But it was a common vision that we were trying to accomplish and achieve for the school. So if you're not a part of a PLC, would it be helpful to have one? My coaches had PLCs. You know, my athletic coordinator developed those, and we went from, in football, 0-10 to 10-0 in a year. So we thought it was pretty effective. Just start thinking about that and where you are currently with that in your school. There's also some key questions that should be asked in the PLCs. And if you follow that, it sort of helps. But my 3 favorite easy questions are, number 1, what are we teaching? Okay, so what are you teaching? Is it the standard? Is it the curriculum from your state or your district? Is it, you know, Casey's favorite unit? What are we teaching? And number 2, why and how are we teaching it? That why question is critically important, and we talk more about that when we get into curriculum and other things in some other courses. But if you don't know why you're teaching something, is it a high-stakes standard? When we went through and started really asking that question about everything that we were teaching during our PLC, we found we were teaching a whole lot of stuff we didn't need to. So we really pared our curriculum down. In fact, Bill Daggett has done an analysis of every state's curriculum in the country, and he will tell you that about 50% of what is in the state's curriculum needs to be thrown out. A, it's not tested. B, it's not relevant or useful. And C, it does nothing to advance kids for the next level. So be very, very, very cautious, but also be very deliberate about tasking why we're teaching certain things. And then the last one is, how do you know if students learn? So real simple, what are we teaching? Why and how are we teaching it? And how do we know if they learned it? And if you can accomplish those three things, then your PLC will be focused on the right stuff and be very, very effective.
I'm sorry, did you say?
Yeah.
Did you know what they learned?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you repeat that last question for me?
Yeah, it was just, how do we know if the students learned?
Okay, thank you.
All right. So, what questions, what comments, give me some feedback, guys. What are you thinking? Okay, I know I'm not so wonderful that I didn't evoke some questions.
Oh, he's still down.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Texas, I had a very open PLC community. I had an excellent principal that enforced and encouraged those all the time in multi-levels. In my current position, I am the only gifted teacher. And with all of the timing and scheduling, I don't meet with the language arts department. I barely meet with the principal or the vice principal. So there is not a professional learning community for me.
Okay.
So, and I've noticed that there's a lot of resistance whenever someone's asked for extra time to do anything. So how do you encourage a professional learning community without coming up pushy or a know-it-all or anything like that?
Yeah, and that's a very tough position to be in. I've been there, working with colleagues who didn't want to do that. I would do a couple of things. The first thing that I would do is start really, really small to find one other person that maybe is interested in just collaborating or sharing ideas or talking about students and the data, looking at the curriculum, something pretty simple and easy, and just do one other person. And once that person's bought in, then task becomes they have to bring in one other person. And do that, but make them really short. A lot of PLCs, people think they have to be an hour or two. I've seen an effective PLC in as little as 15 minutes. A group of teachers that I had, they did it virtually because they were all busy, they had families, they needed to get home, take care of their kids, and so they would sit down after the kids were in bed and dinner, and they would do it, like we are, through Skype or whatever, and make it really, really short. The other possibility too is see if you can find a 5th grade teacher at another school. And again, you can do it virtually. So those are just some ideas that come to mind quickly, but I will do some more research and see what else I can find to help you out, Sheree. Because yeah, if you've experienced it, it's awesome and it's so helpful. And then to not have that collaboration.
I know. I went from collaboration on curriculum development to here's your curriculum. Go teach it. So,
and unfortunately, people tend to think that curricula is it's once and done. And we all know that great curriculum is living and breathing and changes all the time because it should be based on how your kids are doing, not necessarily on this set of standards. It's kind of like the teachers, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but those teachers that started teaching in 1950 and they laminated their lesson plans and they're still using them. I've had those people. I'm like, we're not supposed to be teaching this anymore. Come on. So yeah, it's a challenge, but like I said, my best advice is start small. Just grab one other person.
Okay, thank you.
A newer teacher is going to be more willing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they need to be better.
I do have a couple of questions about our class, if I can ask those too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. On the syllabus, it said something about student journals.
Yeah.
I wanted to see, like, am I missing something from the first area?
No, I met today with our director of online learning, and Moodle apparently is kind of blown up. I don't know. We're having all kinds of internal issues. So the journal feature is not working. So what
Okay.
PowerPoint that I sent to you guys is a journal is not required. But if you keep a journal, there's just some questions that I put into the PowerPoint for you to think about. I'm not expecting you to send me a written answer. Please don't. But it's I want you to be thinking and expanding your brain capacity on all this stuff. So if you include that in a journal, and then at the end of the lesson, I have just 4 simple questions that I'll always ask you. And if you put that into a journal, which can be anything you want, I don't care if it's on sticky notes, but if you turn that into me, I'll call for them around midterm time and final exam time, and I'll give you extra credit.
Okay. And I do have one more question.
Sure.
Okay. On Moodle, I know that we're posting, for example, we posted our diagram and our results and all of that into the discussion forum. But there's also a position that is like, you know, where you post it or you turn it in, you know, the little assignment, little doodad thing. And it says, you know, assignment not attempted right now and not graded, that sort of thing. Do we need to put that in there as well?
No, just put it in the forum and I'll grade it from there. And then what I'll do is I'll post your grades probably in the Turnitin feature, but don't worry about doing it both places. There's no reason to. I'm reading the discussion forums.
Okay, then I'll stop talking now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Seriously, y'all are too easy.
For my color thing.
Anybody? Like I said, it's hard for me to tell sometimes because I'm getting a little bit of background noise. Okay, so I'm going to end with a story because one of the things you're going to be doing in this course, starting around midterm time, is what are called case studies. I had the opportunity to study at Harvard one summer and learned that in their School of Law as well as their School of Education, all they use now are case studies. So I'm a big fan, learned a ton from that process. So I'm going to give you a story and I want you to be thinking about how you might resolve this because you're going to be given something similar to do for your midterm exam as well as for part of your project. And like I said, I want you to kind of get used to it. So this will be our first trial run. Okay, so once upon a time, there was a school. It was called Good High School. It was a large high school with 2,800 students. It was considered the best high school in its parish out of the 4. There were only 4 schools there. While the school was good and got decent student achievement results, the superintendent felt something was missing. Instinctively, he knew the school was underperforming. The school had opened more than 40 years ago, and it had only had 2 principals in that entire 40-year span. Knowing the current principal was not going to be able to propel the school forward, the superintendent decided to bring in a new principal. His expectations from the new principal were 3 things. 1, the principal had to increase student achievement and earn the state's top ranking. 2, the principal had to remove and replace underperforming teachers and coaches. And 3, the principal had to restore discipline, order, and pride in the school. So only 3 things, right? Not that big a deal. So I want you to think about, you are that newly appointed principal. So how can you use what you've learned so far in this course to craft your entry plan? So anybody, I know that's on the spot for the moment, but anybody have any ideas? What might be something you would want to include in that entry plan on how you're going to move this school forward? There's no wrong answers. Bravery is appreciated and applauded and recognized.
Reading the fable, I would definitely probably take her approach and sit in on some PLC meetings, meet with teachers. I'd even meet with parents and students and see what's been going on there to get a little bit more information about the school and the feeling that is there, because you're taking over after another principal who may have been running it the same way the principal before did, not changing things up, and seeing really what the teachers and the students, your audience, want to see, what benefits
Great response. Yes, absolutely. I think the most important thing you can do when you come into a new role, whether it's a new team member as a teacher, or it's the new principal, the new superintendent, the new assistant superintendent, you've got to gather data. And like it talks about in the book, just that management by walking around, looking, listening, looking some more, and listening some more, and asking lots and lots of questions. Now, you have to be careful. You don't want to act like you're grilling people, but to just really understand and get a sense of what's going on in that school. I also would use some of these tools so I could begin to know the players and, understand their personalities pretty quickly in a more scientific way. Okay, other ideas? Great response.
I know that in our last class we talked about, you mentioned about replacing those teachers, and I think one of the things I've experienced just by watching is that there's not enough documentation. So your administrator comes and there's a problem with somebody and they want the lead teacher, they want somebody else to handle it, and if they would simply just document that, 3 strikes, whatever, you've got the data, you have your documentation. I mean, it's easier to say, okay, you're not cutting it, but it's just, there's not enough of that.
You are absolutely right. And, I'm going to tell you, this may be like, oh, well, that's the way it is in my school. It may be revolutionary. But as a principal, I required, myself included, and all of my assistant principals, we visited at least 10 classrooms every single week. Every teacher in my building throughout the year would average between 10 and 15 classroom visits. Documentation was never a problem for us.
Well, I feel too, some teachers don't like teachers in their room, but I personally would welcome them and say, if you're doing something right, you have nothing to hide. Come on in,
And that's the other side of it, Heather. Thank you for bringing that up. For my teachers who were good teachers, they needed and deserved that affirmation. They needed to hear that they were doing some great stuff. And I would bring other teachers in and say, look, if you're struggling with this, you have to, and that's why I'm excited that you guys are the next generation of leaders in whatever capacity you decide to do this. But we have to create, and I think a professional learning community is the tool. We have to create that collegiality and that coaching atmosphere where we're all striving to get better. I mean, and when you get that and that culture is created on your campus, my teachers would give me feedback, after a meeting, or they'd be like, are you in a bad mood? You sent kind of an ugly email. And I'm like, no, I'm just in a hurry. It's really critical that we understand we are all learners too. And that we have that open door, literally, so that we can give you feedback, and help you to grow as a teacher, to help our school grow, and to become better and better and better. Because, this is not something you go to school for 4 years, you get your degree, your certification, and you're done. We know that things change constantly. And if we don't stay on top of our craft, then we're not doing what we need to do for the kids that count on us.
With that feedback, I think also you could send out like a Google form survey and just ask what others want to improve on, or what do they think is the downfall, or what's wrong with curriculum or anything like that.
Yeah,
Maybe just
absolutely.
a 3-question survey that's quick, but something they'll be honest in.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's something that you can even do as a PLC. So let's say you're the curriculum PLC for your campus. As a principal, I loved it when my teachers would create stuff to send out and get feedback and information. And using technology tools is a great way to do that nowadays. But yeah, something quick and simple, don't take a lot of time, but that is invaluable data. My teachers one time sent one and they asked everybody to log into our curriculum site and to go to a certain page and anything. Well, come to find out, about half our teachers didn't know how to log into the system. So it's like, oh dear, we've got a whole different problem than we thought we had. We thought there were problems with the curriculum. Well, maybe it's not the curriculum, maybe it's the fact that half the people in this building aren't using it. So yeah, the more data you can gather in quick and simple ways, the better equipped you're going to be to really get this moving. Well, I'm going to finish the story real quick because this is an actual case study. So I was that principal that was brought in, and the first thing I did the first day was fire the baseball coach. That was fun. It's like, hi, how are you? I'm Tracy Johnson, and by the way, you don't have a job anymore. But what I was able to do is I did exactly what you guys have talked about. I spent, honestly, probably the entire summer meeting people. I mean, just, come in and talk to me 15 minutes, listening, gathering lots of data. Then we did some of these assessments. And then we formed, I had 17 professional learning communities the first year. Because I felt like part of the problem with the school was everybody operated in silos and there was no collaboration and no communication. And we had to break that down. So I created a way for everybody to have input, to listen, to learn, and some teachers who people didn't really know or didn't know they were superstars kind of rose to the occasion. It was really an interesting time. And I'm really proud to say that within 2 years, we had accomplished everything on here, plus we were named by the Intel Foundation as the best school in the United States and got the National Blue Ribbon Schools Award. And one of the things that was cited was our professional learning communities. And, like I said, it was just a really powerful tool. It's not anything I did. It's the work that came out of those groups. So, any parting thoughts, ideas? Well, thank you guys. It is 8:30, so I'm not going to keep you late. Thank you for joining us for the first Zoom, and I'll post hopefully on Thursday your assignments for Module 2. And just remember, if you have any questions or concerns, call me, email me, Zoom me, I don't care, whatever. Just text me, get hold of me. But thanks for joining us tonight, guys. Have a great evening. Bye.